Today's episode is based on New York Times bestselling author John C. Maxwell's book, Leading in Tough Times. The focus is on business English. And the title of our episode is The Communication Challenge, Getting Everyone on the Same Page. Levels, pre-intermediate up. When most leaders think about communication, they focus on vision casting and giving direction. But communication is so much more than that, especially during tough times. Many people in the workplace today feel dehumanized and demoralized. They believe that leaders and organizations they work for don't care about them as people. This can be particularly true when the future is uncertain. To counter that, engage with people. Connect with them. Ask questions. Really listen. Make communication a conversation, not a monologue. Not only will you lift the morale of your team, you'll get the best from them, and you'll enjoy working together to find success. Listen to understand. I believe most leaders are naturally better at talking than listening. I know that was true for me when I was early in my leadership journey. I was intent on communicating my vision to others and making sure they understood my agenda. I wanted communication to go only one way, from me to them. The result was that few people bought into my leadership or my vision. I failed to realize that the road to vision buy-in was a two-way communication. That meant I had to learn how to listen, and with the goal of understanding. Too often, as leaders, we get fixated on our own point of view and spend our time trying to convince others of our opinions instead of trying to find out their perspectives. We often make faulty assumptions about other people. We believe people are good at the same things we are good at. They aren't. We believe people are energized by the same things that energize us. They aren't. We believe people see the big picture in the same way we do. They don't. Leaders who listen to understand are able to gather information, challenge assumptions, and modify their approach to their people. All of this enables them to lead more effectively. More than that, listening with no agenda speaks volumes to team members. Listening to understand demonstrates that you value people. Author and professor David Augsburger says, being heard is so close to being loved that for the average person they are almost indistinguishable. Because that is true. When you listen to others, you communicate that you care about them and value them. Listening to understand has high influence value. One of the best ways to persuade others is with your ears. That may seem counterintuitive because we expect persuasion to involve speaking. But when a leader listens to members of the team, that act gives the leader greater credibility and therefore influence. In contrast, when team members no longer believe that their leader listens to understand them, they start looking around for someone who will. Listening to understand leads to learning. Sometimes people need to talk through a problem to define it to themselves. When you simply listen as they share their thoughts without offering your own opinion, it can empower them to keep processing, and they might come up with the best solution without a word from you. Nothing is more satisfying to me as a leader than to watch my team find answers not through my words, but through my ears. One of the greatest gifts I can give a person is the gift of attention. How good are your listening skills? I have to confess that I have not always been a good listener. I talk too much and listen too little. I had a quick solution for every problem and was all too eager to share it. But that attitude hurt me. I damaged some relationships because I didn't listen. And I often failed to benefit from the advice and ideas of those around me. I've improved in this area, but I still have to guard against talking too much and not listening enough. If you also need to do that, you may benefit from this list of questions that I developed to help myself to keep listening. Question 1. Do I have an open ear policy? High Point University President Nido Quibben believes most of us tend to suffer from agenda anxiety. The feeling that what we want to say to others is more important than what we think they might want to say to us. Do you find that to be true? I do. I must admit it has taken me years to soften my natural inclination to direct others. How do I do that? As a leader, I work to listen first, then lead. Question number 2. Do I interrupt? Interrupting is impolite and is a symptom of an attitude problem. People with strong opinions or clear vision can have a tendency to cut to the chase, interrupt, and discount what others have to say. The problem is that interrupting translates to, what I want to say is more important than what you were saying. Question number 3. Do I want to hear what I need to hear? Effective leaders encourage others to tell them what they need to hear, even when it's not what they want to hear. Max Dupree said, "The first responsibility of a leader is to define reality. That can happen only when the leader is willing to hear and face the truth."